Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about some advanced rhythm techniques. So what I'm going to do is just drag and drop a couple samples onto the DAW and put some drums over it. And while I do this, I'm going to show you guys some popular techniques that producers use. That's a fun one. Okay, so I have this sample right here. Let's put it to tempo first. Let's put down the simple drums first, and then we're going to expand on it. So for the kick drum, we want that one on the downbeat, and then we're going to look for a bit of syncopation. Okay, so I like that pattern. 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I have a rim. We're gonna put that on the 2 and the 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. I'm gonna take that out. Get some hi-hats. Do an 8th note 2-step. And this is pretty much all we went over for the simple rhythm. And, you know, on its own, it doesn't sound bad at all. We can just do a lot more to it. Now, a really interesting rhythm that you can put into your drums are triplets. And a triplet is when a beat is divided into 3 equal parts. The best way is to just hear it, so let's put it on the hi-hats. Right now, the hi-hats are playing 8th notes. And that means that the quarter note is divided into 2 beats. Hear that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see right here, this is the span of a quarter note, and you have 2 equal parts, but now we're going to do 3 equal parts instead. In FL Studio, there is a setting right here to set it to 1/3 beat, and then you can see how the grid moves over, so we are going to put our notes there instead. So here are the 8th notes, and here are the triplets. So you can hear 8th note triplets right there. And in 16th note triplets, it's pretty much a triplet divided within a single 8th note instead of a quarter note. So let's hear the difference. Now let's look at a quarter note triplet. And that is a triplet that spans over 2 beats. So this is the length of 2 beats right here. So now we need it in 3 equal measures. And that's going to be there. So let's hear the difference with that. So putting in these triplets are really good for creating diversity within your beat. Let's put in a couple on our hi-hats right now. And once again, I'm using my ear and looking for a good spot to put them. So there's a little empty spot in the melody, so I think that's going to be a good place to put some interest in the hi-hats. And I think, so let's do 8th note triplet right there. And let's do a 16th note triplet right here. And you can put these on a bunch of different drum sounds. So let's try putting it on the rim. I'm going to do a 16th triplet right here. I'm going to have the velocity kind of faded in, so it's not too much. That's going to be kind of annoying later on. So maybe we'll duplicate the pattern and just have it on the last one. Your main drums like the kick and the snare shouldn't be that busy because those instruments really solidify the beat in place. So if you're doing too much with it, you're going to lose that feeling of the groove. Hi-hats are probably the best bet when you want to do the rolls and the fun rhythms just because it's such a quick, short sample. And it doesn't mean we can't do it for the kick and the snare. We just have to be a bit more careful about it. Let's do a triplet there. I'm going to keep this one really simple just because there's going to be a snare roll right there. So I don't want to do too much on that little section. I'm doing a little bit more syncopation on the kick and I'm bringing the velocity down so that it gives it a bit more space. I'm going to put a second hi-hat and let's do some rolls. So a roll is when notes are being played in succession really, really quickly. Right here, you can hear that the notes are spaced out, but if I just bring them together, then this is a roll. And we're not going to talk about 64th notes like this or a 1/28th note roll like this because, you know, at the end of the day, they're still achieving the same effect. It's just a really quick rolling sound. This is a really cool way to add some energy and cool rhythms in your beat. Once again, I'm going to listen for places where I can put some rolls. So there's a place like here where there's triplets and there's a quicker triplet right there. So that's not going to be a good spot for me because I don't want it to be too busy. But there's a lot of empty space right at the beginning here. So maybe I put it right here, right at the beginning there. And we can do this kind of roll. That sounds really nice. Right now, I'm using 2 hi-hats. And I really want them to stand out from each other, so I'm going to use the pitch in the piano roll so that they're not in the same frequency. Another good way to separate them is to do a little bit of panning. So I'm going to have one hi-hat a little bit on the right and the other a little bit on the left. Yeah, maybe right there. That roll is a bit too much. Yeah, sure. Maybe down there, just for a bit of variation. I'm going to change the velocity so that first roll kind of just swells in. Let's get some percussion now. Now, remember when we were making melodies, we didn't want everything to be in the same register because nothing would stand out. And we want that same concept when we're picking our drum sounds as well. We have 2 hi-hats going on right now, so that might be more than enough for the top end. So let's look for something in the lower registers. I like this sound. For percussion, I like to put it in syncopated areas because that can create a lot of cool bounces. And once again, we're just looking at the weaker beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we can, we can just put them all on the weak beats and then just kind of subtract from there. So I like it, that first one. Maybe that one. No, maybe this one. I think it's like that. I pitched it down slightly, so I'm just giving it a little bit more room in the mix. Let's put in an open hat. For the open hat, I like to put it in syncopated areas, but I also like to layer it. Layering it with something like a snare might be fun because the open hat is really long and sustained, while the snare is really quick and punchy. So, we can have that initial punch, but then that long tail of the open hat. I'm gonna change the envelope so that when I draw it in the piano roll, it stops immediately when I want it to. You keep it really rhythmic when you turn it off on beat as well. If I let the whole sample play, it kind of just fades out whenever the sample is done. But if I, cut it off right at a strong bar line, then it's a bit more rhythmic. Maybe even half. I like that better. And this is another high frequency instrument. So sometimes when this plays, I'm going to remove some hi-hats just to give it a bit more space. So I like that spot right there. And then, as I said, we'll get rid of the hi-hats.